Oh, anybody?
Hi Fiona,
Hiya.
how you doing today?
Not bad. Just realised I forgot my tea. Never mind.
Yes, yeah, I was on water and so I haven't got my cup of tea either. Um, Very good. Well, today we're gonna get musical, not physical,
Yeah, we are.
but musical. So chatting about incorporating music in.
Yeah, songs more specifically, I
Hmm.
think. Yeah, as opposed to instrumental.
Yes, yeah, we could do another one on instrumental music and
Mm.
background music. Yep, yep.
Yeah, I do use instrumental music quite a bit as well. Yeah,
Hmm.
but songs specifically we're talking about today. Yeah.
Songs
Do you?
specifically.
Yes. Do you use
Well,
them much in your online environment?
I don't, and I think it's probably because of being online, but also just the fact that music isn't a big part of my life. Like, I'm not one of those people that always has to be listening to music or always has the radio on. Um,
There's
and
a drum set behind you
there
there.
is a drum set. I can't play it. Um, but yes. Um, but so I think that that impacts the sort of activities that I bring into the classroom. And I probably should do more music because it's another way that we can cater to different learners in the room.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm looking forward to getting some ideas today.
I suppose though, sorry, just to continue with the thing about you being in the digital environment, the you don't have control over the quality of sound for your students, which might affect as well.
Yep, yep, it's true. True.
Yeah, because at least I can, moderate or modify the sound in the room, the sort of optimum volume and whatnot. Whereas you're entirely dependent on them having, I don't know, functioning or suitable microphones at the other end, and then you've got the remembering to share, tick that box when you share.
Oh yeah, how many times have I forgotten to tick that box with what I'm doing?
Exactly, yeah. There's that extra stage or slightly added logistic thing in your context, yeah. But I use songs quite a lot in the class. I love music, but it's not that because of that, it's because my students love music, and
Hmm.
I try to before we got recording we had a little giggle because we're saying the amount of One Direction that has increased in my life in the last few years. And it's fair to assume I am not a One Direction fan. um Nothing against them. I do have things against some other groups, but I don't have anything against them, but because they're popular with my students,
Hmm.
we do listen to, I don't even know the name of it. Live While You're Young, it might be called that. Something about crazy, crazy, crazy in the sun. That one crops up a bit. But yeah, I mean it's tapping into the interests of my students. So
Hmm.
in most of my classes I have people who can play instruments, generally speaking, classical, violin, piano, whatever. But there will often be a guitarist as well. I will have students who have a passion for Beatles or Oasis a few years ago, slightly more retro, should we say,
Hmm.
music. So yes, I bring it in because it's part of their life, world, reality, and it's another route to the language and songs in particular, making pronunciation, for example, seem relevant, desirable. Um,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
show,
no, I was just thinking the number of students who say that they learned English through listening to songs and,
well, this
particularly
is
with the
it.
older generation,
Yeah,
they
lexical
couldn't look up the
chunks.
lyrics. So they were listening again
Yeah,
and
yeah.
again to the song to try and write down what they were saying.
Well, I remember many years ago, many, many years ago, when I was living in Catalonia. I had a student in a beginner's class who had been sent by the company that he worked for. I knew him socially anyway. Excuse me. Um, and he didn't like English and he didn't want to be in a class. And he really was pretty much zero beginner. He'd done French at school and all that kind of stuff. And he, I remember he started to really develop an interest in the classes because for every single grammar point, whatever, I would find a song. I wouldn't necessarily play it in class, but I would say, you know that song by Lenny Kravitz, you know that song by, and he'd sit there singing in class and going, okay, right, I can do this because I can just remember. I remember him sitting singing, "Are You Gonna Go My Way?" for going to. Um, and it really helped him learn. And it was
Mm.
a sort of a mnemonic for him for grammar. He used it for
Mhm.
grammar. He found a little song that he knew, a little song. He found a song that he knew for each of the grammar points that we did.
Nice.
So it's a way of, you can use songs for lexical chunks and for grammar. I mean, back in the day, it was the Gap film. And I probably have somewhere around, I wish I'd looked up them out before, an old folder with like handwritten, gapped lyrics from the days before computers. and and Spotify and YouTube, and we had to sit and listen to songs over and over again to get the lyrics, unless there was a lyric sheet in the cassette, as
Yeah.
it was.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I've got an illustrated version of Basket Case. I remember doing Basket Case by Green Day and actually doodling all over it as well. Anyway, relics.
Well,
But
I mean,
I haven't done a gap fill for years.
saying that, like I haven't done a gap fill with a song for years, but I have recommended lyrics training to my students.
Yeah, well, this is it. Yes,
I
that's a
think
good.
that's a nice way they can do something beyond the class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and they can find songs that they're interested in as well.
Yeah, it's good. It is essentially a gap fill, so
Mm. Yeah.
it saves doing them in class. I do use gap fills for pronunciation-y things, but not a listen and complete. It's a think and complete and then listen to
Mhm.
check. I use, what's the name of the song? It's the Billie Eilish one from James Bond.
Oh yeah.
I can hear it in my head and I can't think of the title.
No, I can't. I don't know the title.
Something about it's just to die. What's it called? Oh, I can hear it in my head and I can't get it. Anyway, the Billie Eilish James Bond song. I get them thinking about the ends of the lines, so they guess, and then um they give them a selection of words it could be, but they think first,
Hmm.
and then they work out from the sound which one's the most likely. The lines rather are not in order, and then they work out logical order, and then we listen and check. No Time to Die, that's what it's
That's
called.
the one. Yeah.
Just No Time to Die. Yeah, that's it. No Time to Die. That's the one I use. And the students quite like it. But I use the James Bond songs for something else as well. I have to give a lecture on British film, cultural, British culture, youth culture, all these things. And so I often do a lesson, not a lesson, but a stage of a lesson where I take little bits of the James Bond songs over the years,
Mhm.
like maybe six of them. The Adele one, maybe at least one Shirley Bassey, Chris Cornell, because I love Chris Cornell. Just, and I play little bits and they listen and they have to decide which one they like, don't like, what the songs have it or the pieces of music have in common. And then we do the Billie Eilish one after that. But they love discussing what they have in common. because anybody with classical training will inform me that they're all in a minor key, which I didn't know
Mm.
until doing this lesson. And we discuss this, and then you can get into discussion about, well, why did they choose a minor key? And that's their knowledge, not mine. They're teaching me about it. And
Awesome.
it's a bit like we were talking when we were talking about art. What was that 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? I've lost track now. Three maybe.
Episode 32. We're now on
Yeah, about
35.
yeah, about 3 weeks ago. The similar thing where you just play clips of music and say, what do you think?
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, and then you say, find a piece of music you really like and
Hmm.
talk about it. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Think it's
music can have,
interesting, like linking to this thing about art, because I did an activity a couple of weeks ago with my students, and I showed a few pieces of artwork, and I said, these are the ones that I've chosen because I liked them.
yeah,
And with you saying as well, Chris Cornell, I've got to have Chris Cornell because I like him.
yeah.
It's really interesting then handing it over to the students and getting them to bring something in,
Well,
because
this is it. Yeah,
yeah, it just opens up more possibilities and exposes us and them to more genres, etc.
yeah, and also it's sharing a bit about ourselves. Um, it loops back to the rapport building thing as well. When I'm playing music, I mean, I use songs like Ramalama Ding Dong that was Rocky Sharp in the replays. There's no way I'm going to say I like that song, so I will say to them, I know it's not a great song, but it's going to help your pronunciation of R and L. We discuss it. Um, that I get them to learn Let It Go. And then there's one from The Greatest Showman called Never Enough. And you talk, I'm saying, I'll say, homework, learn this song, or, the chorus of it, not the whole song. And we'll sing it in class. We have a sing along, but then yeah, inevitably, do you like the song? Do you not like it? Well, what do you think? And it goes into rapport building
Hmm.
because what do we like? Chris Cornell. Oh, I like Soundgarden. I've been a big Soundgarden fan.
Hmm.
What do you like? Oh, I don't like that. I like that. Oh, One Direction. Well, I'll be honest, it's not my favorite, but I don't know. Harry Styles. Oh, I think he's quite a cool guy or whatever. And I think music is it's a language in itself, and I think most people have an opinion about music, whether they
Hmm.
like music, don't like music. Specific, I mean, some people never listen to music. Some people do. Some people don't like music in English. They only like, I don't know, K-pop, for example,
Hmm. Hmm.
or Japanese folk music or whatever. And then we discuss, well, what's the difference? Why? What?
Hmm.
And you can take it so many ways, like art.
Mm. And I think it's really powerful as well, bringing things into the lesson that you expect students not to like, or that you
Yeah,
yourself don't like, because again, it just opens up a wider range of vocabulary
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
rather than always being, oh yeah, I really like this and I'm a real fan of this. And, they can kind of get
yeah.
into the, ugh, how completely, utterly boring.
I know. Well, one thing that doesn't work well, and I've learned this the hard way. I give a lecture on British music. Unfortunately, recently we've been moving it slightly further towards youth culture, and so you can talk about fashion and music, and even things like Adam and the Ants and the Sex Pistols and whatever the connection with music and fashion and urban tribes. And when it was just like British pop music, um, there's a significant percentage of young people have zero interest in British pop music. And that was the least successful of the lectures that I was
Mhm.
asked to give. And I thought that was interesting in itself. And that's why we ended up discussing, well, why don't you like this stuff? What is the difference between K-pop and J-pop and and British pop, Britpop, essentially.
Mhm.
And then you'll discover largely it's a reticence about the language, and so it's well, why and what can we do about that, and then playing a range of music like Oasis versus Harry Styles, whatever, who are quite different. Um, so yeah, no, it's just it's an area for bringing in variety and opinions,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then pronunciation and meaning. The fact that when we listen to songs, there's often a phrase that we go, oh, I don't know, what was that? You know, and so you go by logic. It is a gap fill, but it's a meaning gap.
Mhm.
You know, the classic misheard lyrics
Yeah,
thing.
I was just thinking
Yeah,
of that as well. Yeah, I think that's really empowering as well for language learners to see like how difficult it is sometimes as well for
yeah,
the people whose first language is being used to actually hear what's being said
yes,
and kind of go, oh, well, so many people think what is it? I kissed this guy for the Jimi Hendrix, I kissed the sky,
yes.
and things like that. And then you can kind of get into where the linking is and things like that.
Well, exactly. It's worth doing those classic misheard lyrics and saying it. Sometimes it's difficult to understand. You have to use logic,
Hmm.
work out the meaning. What do you think? Even if you can't work out what it is, you can work out what it can't possibly be, you know. And it's in songs as well. There's a Wham song or a George Michael, but I forget which one it is that's got a misheard. It's like Careless Whispers or something. I know that when the song, now I can't even remember the correct name of it. There's a famous song that was very popular when I lived in Spain, and I never saw it written down. I only heard the title of it on the radio and then heard it. It's that song by Delight, and I never knew if it was Rhythm in the Sky, Rubies in the Heart. It was
Ah, yeah, rhythm in the heart.
that one, but I thought it was Rubies in the Sky for a long time because I had no, I just couldn't. I used to say to my students back in the day, no, no Bruce Springsteen, because I couldn't understand a word that he said. Nothing. And all that listening and writing stuff down, I couldn't get it.
Mm-mm.
Um, but anyway, this is a going off down a nostalgia route. Songs in the
Very,
class.
yep.
Yeah. I do use songs sometimes for visualization,
Hmm.
but I do the opposite there. I choose songs that don't have distracting lyrics.
And I think as well, it's good not to do songs that are too well known because,
Yeah, no, it has to be completely, yeah,
yeah,
because
either
then they'll
use
have
the music
associations with it.
video or, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'll use lesser known REM songs, for example.
Hmm.
And again, that's where not being able to pick out the lyrics, this is the thought association with Bruce Springsteen or Michael Stipe is another one who it's not always very easy to understand what he says, which makes REM songs very good for visualization exercises
Hmm. Hmm.
because it's quite tricky to pick out. So the lyrics don't distract. Um, but it's such a wealth of music.
Yep. Yep.
Um, the introductions to songs are great. Mini clips. Bring Me to Life. That introduction is brilliant for Evanescence.
Hmm.
Excellent introduction for visualization. Skipworth and Turner. Excellent introduction for visualization, and they're short.
Hmm.
Um, Every Day is Yours to Win. I think it's called. That's an REM one. Excellent introduction for visualization. So, using songs, not always just the lyrics.
Yep.
It's
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, running up that hill, that introduction, you can use that and get people to design a video for what they think the song.
Although that one now might be, with it being in Stranger Things, they might immediately kind of go to that.
Yeah, Stranger Things is not globally on Netflix though. It's on Netflix in some countries. Um, and then age group as well. Not Netflix, sorry, Stranger Things is however many years ago now. Three, four. The season that had Running
Yeah,
Up That Hill.
yeah.
And so a lot of the younger people got no idea.
Hmm. Hmm.
2023, they all knew it. Nowadays, most don't. So, life moves fast, especially when you're 18 or 20. But I do find that I use songs as a sort of design the video
Hmm.
project. One that's really good for that is Young Hearts by Candy Staton. And you give them the lyrics first. You don't play it, you just give them the lyrics or a chunk of lyrics. And the lyrics are quite sad. Um, and they they sort of design a video for this. And then you play the bit of the song that the bit of lyrics you've given them, you play them that bit of the song and gives them a reason to redraft, to
Hmm.
discuss again, and to say, oh, we need to change that, we need to change that, we need to do that. And kind of it's a way of expanding the discussion.
Yeah.
Um, because it's a disco song, and they've gone for sad and black and white and it's diddly diddly. It's like, oh no, we need to make changes. So doing that as well, give a bit of lyrics and then play the music. Um, yeah, is a way of expanding discussion on that kind of topic. I like doing that. There are other songs, but that's the first one that comes to mind for that. Um, yeah, there's just a lot that you can do with songs.
Yep.
What do other people do? Give us ideas
Yeah.
in the comments. There are more things. It's just like sometimes I feel like I've got almost
Too
too
many
many.
ideas.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, which one should we talk about?
Yeah. Yes.
Songs are great.
Let us know in the comments, how do you
Yeah.
use songs? And then we'll come back again and do a session, a chat about music and background music another day.
Yes, and possibly about songs for primary as well, which is quite different. There's a huge difference between Chris Cornell and the Wheels on the Bus. So
Very true. Very true. Awesome. Well, I will see you again next week, Fiona.
you will.